Hi Amanda, thank you so much for sending in your video of your walking gait. With Footcamp, anybody at all can send me their video and I'm going to tell them whether or not they are walking in the correct manner. And while I think that anytime you get out there to go to the gym and move your body, you're doing a good thing, I can tell you that the way that we walk in the Western world, which is very, very pronounced with this video I'm seeing, is very injurious. And running and walking is something that is good for us. It shouldn't result in pain or injury, but because of the way we walk and the shoes that we wear, we get a lot of walking and running injuries. They call it a high impact sport, which if you do it correctly, it's actually a very low impact sport. So, and that includes just movement in terms of walking and running. So, first things first, it looks that when you walk, and the way that all of us walk in the Western world, so don't feel like I'm singling you out, it's literally everybody, you walk with the first thing that touches the ground is your heel. And then your forefoot will come down, and then you walk like this, heel to toe, heel to toe, heel to toe. And if you look at your thick footwear, which look very good, very fashionable, but unfortunately not very anatomical, it's very difficult for you to even bend your forefoot because or use your arch muscles because the shoes are quite thick and inflexible. And this deactivates your arch muscles. So it's going to be very difficult to perform these exercises in those shoes because those shoes are very thick, they have a heel, and they have a lot of cushion, which makes it very difficult to feel the ground and actually feel what you're doing. So my first piece of advice is definitely for your next pair of shoes, get into a shoe that has a thin flexible sole, a zero drop design, and a foot-shaped toe box. And this is going to be as though you're barefoot and you're going to be able to actually feel the ground to do these exercises. When you walk heel to toe, which is not ideal. If you look at the way kids walk, which is the way that we naturally walk, or there's even places in the world, probably over 1 billion people walk with a forefoot strike pattern, even probably more. In natural pain-free human walking, the heel never ever touches the ground. So when you walk, the heel should be elevated. This part of the foot should never really hit the ground. Whereas the way you walk with the heel touching the ground. This is a couple problems. The first problem with heel strike walking is that all this impact from the ground goes into your knees, ankles, hips, low back, upper back, and neck. Amanda, I saw that you had been suffering from orthopedic pain in the past with various injuries to your knee and to your legs. That's definitely a symptom of heel strike walking, because when you walk, you bypass our natural spring, which is there to absorb and recycle shock into the next step, which is our Achilles tendon. Amanda, your Achilles tendon has 850 pounds of force capacity, which when we walk on our heel, we are bypassing. So the way we want to walk instead is you're actually going to have I don't mind if there's a desk here so that you can't see my feet, because it's not about the feet, it's about the body. Because when we walk naturally, what we're doing is we're just falling forward like this and then catching ourselves with our feet. And we're just catching ourselves and letting gravity and inertia pull us forward. And when we do that, we have to actually have an entirely proud chest and extended, or you basically need to flex your low back muscles in order to get into the safest position, which is like this. With my arm, I'm much less likely to get an arm injury like this than I am with this. It's the same way with our low back. You're much more likely to get an injury in your low back when you're like this than you're like this. And it's because this is the safest position. When you forefoot walk, and remember, don't even think about my feet at this point, because just remember, I'm leaning forward, and as a process, as I lean forward, my heels go up like that. So what you want to do is you want to walk on your forefoot like this, and then because of your body position, your heel never touches the ground. And what that's going to do is that's going to take all that impact shock from your the ground that's going into your orthopedic system, and it's going to put it into the Achilles tendon, which, like a bow and arrow, is going to absorb, store, and then recycle that impact shock into the next step. And this is the way that we need to learn how to walk. Obviously, it's very difficult to do that if you're wearing stiff-soled shoes that don't allow you to get into this right position, but this is the natural walking position. And if you do this, all of the pain that you're getting from the impact shock, from the heel strike on the ground, is going to go away. And that's, believe it or not, something that is causing incapacity in 80% of us over a lifetime